Hello. 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 Okay. Let's talk about the newest trailer for DC's, the DCEU's, the DCEU's, The Flash. This is the second of the big trailers and proves my personal theory that this movie will in fact be the origin story of the Reverse Flash. But first, if you're joining me for the first time, then congrats, you're not some strange reality-bending mutant. It's my first video on this particular topic. I've always had my own rogue theories about superhero movies, sci-fi, action, you name it, and sometimes they end up being true, but the fun is figuring it out. And I've had the pleasure of watching other knowledgeable YouTubers over the last few years, and I thought maybe I'd give it the old college try as well. So let's start this journey together, and if you like what you see, stick around for more. I'm Goose, and let's get into it. Also, I just wanted to mention, big spoilers, maybe, potentially. I know there's a pretty big spoiler in the toy line that I mentioned later on, but be careful, because these theories, this whole thing is based on some spoilery material. So, be warned. Spoilers. Trailer number 2 starts off with a teaser for the trailer, which I'm sure that we're all super not tired of at this point, but eventually opens with the voice of Michael Keaton's Batman 89, just like in the first trailer.
I lost my parents. I spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs of the past, as if fighting crime would bring my parents back. You actually did it.
It's interesting here how Batman says you actually did it. Later on in the trailer, and in one of the first trailers that came out for the movie, he said he kind of wished that he could go back and change things, but sort of second guesses himself at the end and says that it's better not to change the past because your trauma can't identify you, which... Let's continue. The next voice you hear is Kara Zor-El, and I feel like she features a lot heavier in the movie than the Superman of the Flashpoint universe did in that particular comic arc. He only showed up a little bit towards the end and didn't really do a heck of a lot. Initially, I thought that this voice here might be Iris, and I could still be right on that, but I don't believe that we'll be seeing a lot, if any, of her in this movie, though I believe she's been cast and is probably going to show up to some extent. When Kara asks what the symbol means to Barry, he says hope, but she seems a little dissatisfied with the answer. They seem to even have reversed clip here where it shows her looking up from original clip where she appears to be looking away with some type of shame or guilt. I think this version of this universe's Superman could have been traumatized and ultimately hateful towards a world she believes imprisoned her without reason. And I hate to reach, but could end up turning her towards the dark side. So because this universe is doomed, we could potentially have any number of villains. We could have Zod if Kara somehow turns evil, but in the end, I think there's only one bad guy that I'm concerned about. One nefarious do-batter whose evil is so complementary to Barry's good that they call him the Reverse Flash. Now, for those who don't know, Reverse Flash is a guy from the future who dislikes Barry. During the Flashpoint comic arc, which this movie borrows heavily from, the Reverse Flash is the one responsible for not only his mother's death, but also toys with him while the world falls apart in the final battle. His origins aren't important because I believe this movie will give him new ones. But first, Batman says the thing.
You want to get nuts?
That's been said so many times.
And then he had us.
Now you want to get nuts?
It's a little old at this point.
Let's get nuts.
And then we see the Barrys and Supergirl. Now here's where we get to talk theory. You see how Barry, not our Barry, but Barry's lightning is blue? For now we'll call him Blueberry. Sure, that could be a product of the dimension we're in. It could be just a visual effect by the movie makers to differentiate the two. But Blueberry is in a very different suit to Red Barry, so I think something else is going on. In this shot, Barry is standing in a room looking at pictures of himself and his family, but his lightning is blue. I think this is alternate Barry, and I think he's attempting to protect this house, or he's come to a terrible realization. I'll explain why in a sec. I think that Barry from our universe will have to decide whether or not to fix things and ultimately destroy this universe, killing everyone in it, including his mom, and in order for that to happen, his mom has to be murdered. But in the comics, and in the Flashpoint movie, It's eventually revealed that Reverse Flash was the one responsible for Barry's mom's murder. Why is that important to this movie? Because there is no Reverse Flash in this movie that we've seen.
No, but your tragedy.
So it's my theory that the Barry that we're seeing with the blue lightning is the Barry from this universe, having learned that his mother has to die and who has to kill her, other Barry. In the comics, there was a speedster that had pure blue lightning, and that was Barry from the future. So what if, just what if, upon learning that his mother has to die by murder, in order to fix this timeline, they retcon Reverse Flash doing it and make our original recipe Barry have to go actually kill his mother in order to save the timeline now hitherto forth known as Red Barry.
Nobody dies.
Now, I don't think the rest of this really has much to do with my theory, but the line was really interesting, which means that there's some tragic loss of life or some big twist that spurns Kara Zor-El into greater feats. Possibly the death of Batman? Maybe she wanted to keep Zod alive and someone killed him, mirroring her cousin's struggle with his death? There are a lot of possibilities here. Batman falling to his knees might indicate he's about to be executed by Zod, or that he also witnessed a horrific thing happen, possibly the cause of... Next, we get the thing that I think proves my theory, the line, "No one has to die," coming from our alternate Barry. In this scene, they're surrounded by the red visual effect we saw earlier in the trailer when Barry was running through the Speed Force. I think this means that they've already finished the battle and are now trying to correct the mistake Barry made when going back to save his mom. At this point in the traditional Flashpoint story, this was when Reverse Flash revealed that it was him that killed Barry's mom in an attempt to ruin his life.
Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend, and you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed.
I think either our Barry has kept a terrible secret, or is just not realizing that it'll have to be him that ends his mom in order to fix the future. After potentially losing so much leading up to this point, Alt Barry could disagree, and the two could start a huge, final, epic fight in the Speed Force itself. I'm reaching into speculation territory here, but I would be thrilled if alternate Barry wins and incapacitates or actually ends our Flash, but upon further thought realizes what he has to do and does the deed himself, erasing his own reality, saving our Barrys, and ending as quickly as he began the Reverse Flash. This is Editing Goose. I just wanted to pop in here. I also just remembered that after I had recorded this for the third time, that McFarlane Toys is coming out with a line for the DC Flash movie. The toy line features the Dark Flash variant. As he pushes the boundaries of his powers, Barry Allen encounters a mysterious and terrifying vision amidst the Speed Force. Something or someone is seemingly using the abilities of the Flash for nefarious purposes. This just kind of confirms the theory about alternate Barry becoming, or Blue Barry becoming the Reverse Flash. So maybe the whole thing's bunk, but hey, if you have any thoughts or theories of your own, be sure to leave them down in the comments. And if you stayed to the end, thanks for hanging out. I hope to provide more theories and breakdowns in the future, time willing, so hit subscribe and the bell to keep yourself informed on my next video. For now, this is Goose, saying have a great day.